everyone, we are back again with our latest video on SQL tutorial ABCacho by ABCacho Groups. And this is day 6 set 0.1 of 30-day SQL interview question series. And this video is getting recorded on 4th of May 2025. So without any delay, let's move on to the first question of this video. And in this video also, we will follow the same rule. First of all, we will go through the query based question, and then after that, we will resolve the theoretical questions. Okay, now move on and check the first question of today's video. So first what we have, how to fetch records where a column has null value. So basically for resolving these questions, we have created a new table employees new that has new data set, and we will move on to SSMS and first check the data in that table, and then after that we will proceed with the resolution of each of the queries. Okay, so here expand the database, then we have the SQL interview. So here in tables we have the table like employee new. Okay, now open a new query window and paste this question first, then we will check the data of employees table, new employees table. Okay, comment this out, and if you need the data or table structure or script, you will go to our Telegram channel as we have mentioned. So check the table data first. So select star from employees new, employ employees new table. Okay, now execute this. So here you can see we have the employee ID, employee name, then job title we have, then we have the department ID, and then we have the salary. Okay, now go through the first question. So first question, what it is telling, how to fetch the record where a column value has null. Column has null value. So basically in this particular table we have job title, and here one value is null. Then we will check how to fetch this null value. And this is a very basic question. Basically these are asked with the beginners or 1 or 2 years of experience, because null value, how to find that, you people know. Okay, so the query for this will be like select star from employees new table, and then we have already checked that job title column has the null value. Then we will check the column job title, where job title it's not equals to null. So for null we need to use is null. Okay, instead of using equals to, we need to use is null if we are finding for null. Okay, now when we execute this, then we get the desired answer, and this is the final solution for this particular question that you need to provide to the interviewer. So execute this, and here you can see 18 Lima has the job title null, that value we are getting. Okay, department D12 and 17,000 75,000 salary. This is clear to everyone. Now move on to the next question. Okay, so next we have how to write a query to find the total number of employees in each job title. Okay, so we need to find out total number of employees in each job title. So this is a good question. Okay, now move on to SSMS and check the resolution for this. So basically for finding out the total number of employees under each job title, what we need to do, we need to count the number of employees in each job title and then group our result by job title, because we need the result set by the job title. Okay, so the final query for this will be like select job title. So first of all we will mention the table name, so that intelligence will work for us and provide the column names, and we don't need to write the column name manually. So from employee new table, employees new table, then we need the select job title comma count of id, employee id we can count emp id. Okay, as total employee, below employee. Okay, and now we need to group our result set by job title, because we need the count of employees as per the group title, as per the job title. Okay, so group by group by job title. Okay, and this is the final solution for this particular question. So this is basically a good question, means basically many people will confuse in these questions, and these are asked by means people from experience level, you can say 0 to 4 years of experience. Okay, now execute this and check the solution. So here you can see we have, means in null, ignore this null. Now data analyst has one employee, data engineer has one employee, data scientist has one employee, data administrator has one employee, HR specialist has two employee, project manager has one employee, and so on. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next question, what we have, next we have the third question. So write a query to fetch all employees whose name end with n. Okay, so basically these are good questions, and for beginners these are very much mostly asked questions, okay, because they want to know if you know the wildcard characters or not and how to find out the wildcard characters, okay. So basically here we need to apply the like operator. Now paste this question on SSMS. Now we will check. Write a query to fetch all employees whose name ends with N. Okay. So here we need to find out the ending with N. So the final query for this will be like select star from, or just the name column we will find. Select name, employee name, EMP name, EMP name from employees new table, employees new table, and then in the where clause our like operator will come, where EMP name like, EMP name like what. So we need to find out n at the end. So for that we need to provide the modulus at the beginning and then after that n. So similarly if people will ask like starting with n, then we need to provide the modulus sign after n, because what a modulus sign is representing, so this is representing like anything will be there but the end should be n, and if this particular modulus sign will be at the end, then what it will represent, n should be at starting and anything at the end, okay. And if both side modulus will be there, then it will find out n available in that particular string, okay. This is clear. Now execute this, and this is the final solution for this particular question that you need to provide to the interviewer. So execute this and check the solution. So here you can see all the names that we are getting are ending with n, okay. So this is clear. Now move on to the next question, and next is a very good question, okay. So it is a mostly asked question, and people will confuse mostly in this particular question because this is a hard question, okay, and can be asked from people with experience level from 3 to 9 years of experience, okay. Copy this and then move on to SSMS. Then there we will read. So how to find all employees who work in both departments D02 and D03. So those employee who are working in both department at the same time, okay, that we need to find out. So first of all what we need to do, we need to do the part by part of this question and then only we will resolve this. So doing part by part of each query based question is a good technique to resolve any kind of questions, because SQL you know, okay. After that what is remaining, understanding the question. So once you understand the question, then you can be able to resolve any kind of question in SQL, okay. So the solution for this will be like, first of all we will check which employees are working in D0 and D3, D03, okay. So for that select name, select first table name mention, then the intelligence will work. So select from employees new table, then what we need the employee name, so EMP name, and then we can take the department ID from this table, and then in where clause what will come, where department ID in these two, like D02, 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 comma D01, okay, D03, sorry, okay. This is not the complete query. This is the part where we are checking, first part where we are checking the employees who are working in these two departments, D02 and D03. Now execute this and check. So here you can see Brian is working in D02 and D03 both. Alice is working in D03. Kevin is working in D02 and Helen is working in D03. Okay. So what we need here? We need here the Brian's record who is working in both D02 and D03. So how to fetch Brian's record from here? So for that what we need to do? We need to put a group by on employee name and then find the count of department ID greater than 1. So here you can see select employee from employee new table where department ID in these two departments, and then group your result, group by employee name, okay. Why we are grouping by employee name? Because we need employee wise count of department, okay. Group by employee name, and then here at the having clause you will write having 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 count of department ID, count of department ID greater than 1, or you can also mention equals to 2. So what this query will do, this query will fetch the employee name from employee new table where the department in this and this, and then it will group the result set by the employee name and find the employees who are working in more than one department, where the having the count department ID greater than 1. And this is the final query for this particular question that you need to provide to the interviewer. Okay, now execute this and check the solution. So here you can see we are getting branch record. Okay, so keep this particular question in mind because this is are mostly asked in 2025. Okay, so this question you must know how to resolve this and what is the logic behind that. Okay, so now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the fifth question, we will check. So write a query to fetch the details of employees with same salary. So this is also a very good question and a tough question. So here basically what we need to do, this will also work on the same concept as the before one, but a bit different. So here we need to find out those employees who have the same salary. Okay, now for this we will use the sub query concept. And if you want to deep dive into sub queries, means what kind of sub queries are in SQL Server and how to use them and where to apply them and when to use them, that all details you will find in that particular video, and that video link you will find in the video description, in this video description. Okay, now the final query for this will be like, we need select employee name, first table name, mention the table name so that intelligence will work. So select from employees new table, and we here we need the employee name, emp name, and the salary will be enough. Okay, and salary from employee new table. Okay, and then the sub query part will come, where salary in, where salary in what, salary in, the sub query will be like select salary from employee new table, and then group your result by salary because we need to check the count of salary. If the count of salary is greater than 1, then that salary we will consider as the salary here, where salary in that salary which is more than 1. More than 1 means multiple employees have that particular salary. Okay, this is clear. So the sub query will return select salary from employee new table, group by salary, and then having having count of salary greater than 1. Okay, so means what it will return, it will return, first we will check what the sub query will return. So first copy this count, also count salary, also copy this. Now execute this sub query first, press enter here, then you can see what the sub query is returning. So the sub query is returning those salaries who are repeated more than once. Okay, and these salary we need to display, means those employee detail we need to display who share the same salary. Okay, now what we are checking, we are checking the employee name and salary from the employee new table, where the salary in this particular sub query which is returning those salary which are repeated more than once. Okay, now this is the final query, and remove this count star from here because we need only the salary part. Now execute this, and this is the final query for this particular question which you need to provide to the interviewer for the solution of this. Now execute this and check the result set. So here you can see, and then order also we will do by salary so that the result will look good. So order by salary. Okay, now when we execute this, then we get the output in a proper manner. So here you can see John, Emma, Daniel means shares same salary like 60,000, and then for 65,000 people also the same kind of salary, and 75,000 people also share the same salary of 75,000. Okay, this is clear. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, so next we have the theoretical question. Okay, now we are going to increase our screen length so that it will be better for you also to read and for us also to check. Okay, now increase this, then move on to the sixth question. So sixth question what we have, what are the advantages of using stored procedures? Okay, so stored procedure is a very important concept in SQL if you are going to work in SQL. So for detailed analysis on stored procedure, you can check our stored procedure video where we have explained stored procedure in full detail, where we have provided like what are stored procedure, what are kinds of stored procedure, system stored procedure, user defined stored procedures, and also parameterized stored procedure, single parameter stored procedure, multiple parameter stored procedure, output parameter stored procedure, and so on. Okay, now move on with the question. Okay, so what are the advantages of using stored procedure? So stored procedures in SQL offer several advantages, making them a powerful tool for managing database operations efficiently. Okay, so here are some of the benefits. So number one benefit is performance optimization. So stored procedures are pre-compiled and optimized by the SQL Server engine, which reduces execution time. And number two is reduces network traffic by sending only the procedure call instead of multiple queries. Okay, now the point two is security and access control. So stored procedures provide control access to data by allowing user to execute stored procedures without direct access to tables. And the second point is it helps prevent SQL injection attacks by using parameterized queries. Okay, now the third point is reusability and maintainability. So stored procedures simplify code management by allowing reuse of logic across multiple applications. So that is the benefit of stored procedure. And if business logic changes, updating the stored procedure is easier than modifying individual queries in applications. Okay, now move on to the next point. So this particular question is continued till next page. So next point is fourth point. So encapsulation of business logic. So if you are a beginner, then you can provide one, two, or 3 points also. But if you are having experience level more than 5 years, then you need to provide all the points if asked by the interviewer. But try to give me simplified points so that the interviewer will also understand that you have worked on a stored procedure and clear your answer. Okay. Now the fourth point, encapsulation of business logic. So complex operations such as transaction and calculations can be encapsulated within a stored procedure, ensuring consistency. Okay, now the fifth point, improve data integrity. So stored procedures ensures consistency in data processing by centralizing logic execution within the database. Okay, and the second point in this is stored procedures helps in implementing validation checks before performing operations. Okay, now the sixth point, reduced redundancy. So stored procedures avoid duplication by storing frequently used logics in a single procedure instead of repeating it across queries. Okay. Now the last point, seventh point, better error handling. So provides structured error handling using try catch blocks for improved debugging and troubleshooting. So basically we have the try catch option in stored procedures also, that will help in improving the debugging and troubleshooting skills. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the seventh questions. Okay, so what are the disadvantages of using stored procedures? So when you are sitting in SQL interviews, so basically you are getting a lot of questions based on stored procedure, because stored procedure will also come in the both category, like intermediate to advanced category, both category stored procedure will come, because you can write stored procedures in many ways. Okay, so now try to check this question. So what are the disadvantages of stored procedures? So while stored procedures offer many advantages in SQL server, they also come with some drawbacks. So here are the key disadvantages of stored procedures. So number one is increased complexity in maintenance. So managing a large number of stored procedure can become cumbersome. Okay, number two is debugging is more challenging compared to application side code. So SQL server lacks robust debugging tools. Okay, now point two is dependency on database servers. So stored procedures are tightly coupled to the databases, making it harder to migrate logic to another system or application. Okay, now the point third is limited version control. So unlike application code, stored procedure do not natively integrate with version control system, making tracking changes difficult. Okay, and this particular question is continued till second page. So move on to the next page. So fourth one is performance bottlenecks in certain cases. So excessive use of stored procedure can lead to connection issues, especially when many queries execute concurrently. Okay, now point two in this is improper indexing or complex joins within stored procedures may degrade performance also. Okay, so you need to keep track of the indexes and the joins that you are applying on the stored procedure, so that your means query will not degrade the performance. Okay, now the fifth point, potential for increased server load. So if a stored procedure handle heavy computation, they may shift processing load to the database server instead of distributing it efficiently. Okay, now the sixth point is limited flexibility compared to dynamic queries. So stored procedures do not support dynamic queries generation as easy as application side codes. So basically it is little bit difficult in writing dynamic queries in stored procedure as compared to that of application side coding. Okay, now the seventh point is dependency on database engine features. So some database specific stored procedure functionalities may not be portable across different database systems. Okay, so this is it. And if you find any means difficulty in understanding any point in this particular set, then let us know in the comment. We will try to make you understand, or if needed we will create a separate video for that also. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, eighth question. So how do we recompile a stored procedure at runtime? So this is a very good question and these are generally asked. So the answer for this is, in SQL Server you can recompile a stored procedure at runtime using below methods. Okay, so number one is using sp underscore recompile, which is a system stored procedure. So this focuses the stored procedure to be recompiled the next time it's run. Okay, now the process of executing this is exec sp underscore recompile and then the procedure name that you are going to recompile. Okay, the effect of this are, SQL Server will discard the existing execution plan and generate a new execution one a new one when the procedure is executed. Okay, so by using the sp underscore recompile, this is the first way to recompile your stored procedure. And the second way is with using with recompilation in the procedure definition. So at the procedure definition, while creating the stored procedure, you can mention the with recompile so that the procedure will recompile each time when it is getting executed. So if we want the procedure to recompile on every execution, we can define it with recompile. Okay, so the procedure for this, syntax for this will be like that: create procedure name, and while creating the procedure only one line you need to mention like with recompile as begin end, and here your procedure logic will come. So for the detailed analysis on stored procedure, you can check our stored procedure video that contains all the details on these things. Okay, now move on to the third point. So third point, what it has, so effect for that using with recompilation during the creation time. So effect for that is, the procedure never caches an execution plan and it always recompiles on execution. So basically we tell like procedures are pre-compiled codes, but when you use the with recompilation, the procedure will not cache the execution plan and it will recompile on every execution. Okay, now the third way of doing recompilation is using option recompile in a query within the stored procedure. So if you want a single query to be recompiled every time when you are executing the stored procedure, then you can use the option of recompile at the query level also. So for this you can see the syntax here. It is mentioned like, for selective recompilation of queries inside the procedure, we can write like select star from employees or xyz table. You can mention where this is the condition, and here at the end after the condition ends you can write option recompile. Okay, and this will recompile this particular set of query each time when you are going to execute the stored procedure. And also, okay, now the effect of this is, only this specific query within the stored procedure is recompiled, improving performance for dynamic queries. Okay, so try to use this particular option of recompile while you are going to recompile your stored procedure at the work, because means recompiling a section will not affect that much if you are going to recompile the whole query. Okay, so this is clear, because the stored procedure in real practice are of more than 500-600 lines. Okay, so means if you recompile each code every time, then that will degrade your performance. Otherwise you can recompile only those codes that you need to recompile. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the ninth question. So can a stored procedure call itself, or recursive stored procedure will be available? So how much level SP nesting is possible? So the answer for this is yes, a stored procedure can call itself, enabling recursion in SQL Server. This is useful for scenarios like hierarchical data traversal. Example, organizational chart like file structures. Okay, basically organizational charts and file structures contain hierarchical data like manager employee relationship kind of thing. So however, recursion must be carefully managed to avoid infinite loop. Okay, so if you do not end the recursion, then it will go to infinite loop. So be aware while using the recursion to end that recursion with a proper logic. Okay, so now stored procedure nesting limit. So this limit you need to remember. Okay, because this particular part can be asked separately in interviews. So SQL Server supports up to 32 levels of nesting for stored procedures. This means a stored procedure can call another stored procedure which calls another one up to 32 levels deep. Okay, this is clear. Now the last question, 10th question, what define triggers in SQL? So the answer for this is only you need to provide the definition for trigger if people will ask for this. Otherwise, they will go deep inside the triggers. And if you don't know the deep knowledge of triggers, then you can't be able to give the answer for this. And if you want to deep dive into triggers and get more knowledge on triggers, how they are working, what are the types of triggers, and how many triggers are in SQL Server available, and how to create them, how to use them, then you can check our triggers video. That is a detailed video on triggers, and we have covered each and everything related to trigger that you need to know about triggers. Okay, so that link also you will find in this video description. Okay, now the answer for this will be, in SQL Server, a trigger is a special type of stored procedure that automatically executes in response to specific events occurring in the database. Okay, and triggers are often used for enforcing business rules, auditing changes, or maintaining data integrity. Okay, so thank you for watching. This is the end of this set, and do like, share, and subscribe if you like the video. And many more videos are on the way, and we will try to provide the set 2 today also, but we are planning to put a video on Windows function, so might be possible the set 2 will not come today, and if possible for us, we will load that. Otherwise, we will load tomorrow in day 7. Okay, and if you need the table scripts and data in used in the tutorial, then you can go to our Telegram link through this particular scan code, or also you will find the link in our video description and also on the channel description. So thank you for watching, and as we have mentioned in our previous videos also, we are planning to create a master series on SQL that will cover each and every part of SQL from 0 to advanced level, and that will also contain everything about relational databases. So be prepared for that. Once we reach the milestone of 500 subscriber, so we will launch that particular series so that many people will be